And this is going to be a conversation about post-purchase. I believe it's a very overlooked topic that has an outsized impact on customer satisfaction, loyalty, and most importantly, profit. So we're really excited here to have Beyond's Chief Customer Officer, Carlisha Robinson, to discuss this. For those of you familiar with Beyond, they are the parent company of Bed Bath & Beyond, Overstock.com, and Zulilly. And joining Carlisha is Extend co-founder or founder, Rohan Shah. If you're not familiar with Extend, hopefully you'll get familiar with them through this session, but they leverage AI to help retailers and brands boost their post-purchase metrics. So please join me in welcoming Carlisha and Rohan.
I wanted to kick things off just quickly. We're talking about post-purchase and some of the things that Scott mentioned, but I wanted to kick things off quickly. How many people in this room buy products online? That was a test, just to make sure people were listening. How many people here have had an issue with a product being damaged when it arrived on your porch, or lost by the carriers, or stolen by one of these fun little guys that you'll see up here on screen? Can you keep your hands raised just really quickly for a sec? Okay, so a large majority in the room. How many people here had an amazing experience resolving that issue with one of the brands that they bought that product from? Less people? Okay. How many people had that amazing experience with a company called Amazon? About the same number. Okay, very interesting. So maybe you guys are reading between the tea leaves a little bit here. But as you think about sort of some of these issues happening, they happen every single day. They plague sort of us, the customers, as well as some of us, the brands as well. We want to talk a little bit about that experience. So when you think about that experience that you had with Amazon, how many people here feel like that experience was a free experience that they got for being an Amazon customer? Couple hands? So I did too when that happened to me. Then I looked at my credit card bill and I realized that I may have not purchased anything that month, but Amazon still charged me. So we all pay for that experience with Amazon. I'm sure many people here are Prime members. So it really isn't free. Is the clicker working? There we go. It is not. So when we think about these sorts of service experiences, customers want everything for free. 6 years ago, that's what all of us were thinking about. Free 2-day shipping, free returns, free resolution when things like someone stealing a package off your porch. Unfortunately, there really isn't anything as a free lunch, except for the brands and retailers in this room right now. If you're a software provider and you think this lunch is free, you're probably not signing the contracts pre-event. So things are just not free anymore for consumers. And what I realize in my role at Extend is that's okay. Customers are willing to pay for services. If you look at the market today, 81% of brands and retailers offer services for a cost. 81%. That includes folks like Amazon, and that also includes some of the most iconic brands that many of us think about here in this room. Some of the names that you see up on the screen. So services don't need to be free to be valuable for a consumer. What we really see is that retailers that offer services to consumers have identified who their highest LTV customers are. The highest LTV customers within your customer base are the ones looking for services from your brand. So this is a really important dynamic of how do you find high LTV and how do you serve high LTV customers with the solutions that they're looking for. When I think about services, though, the most important piece is a service needs to solve a problem for your consumer. Services are irrelevant or useless if they're not solving a problem for consumers. So we really spend a lot of time at Extend thinking about what are the problems worth solving for both our merchant partners, but ultimately for consumers. Because if we can solve a problem for consumers, that's really going to support the brands and the LTV that our retailers are seeing. So this was all my marketing team would allow me to put in here. It was as close as I could get to swearing on stage. But ship happens. Ship does happen. Look at some of the numbers that are on the screen. We're here in New York City in Manhattan. Many of you may not know, 90,000 packages are reported stolen every single day in New York City. Every single day. If you're anything like me, I live in Los Angeles. I don't call the cops if a package gets stolen, mostly because they will not pick up my phone call. So I bet that number is at least 3 to 4 times higher in terms of the people that are dealing with this problem. $20 billion last year was lost to reported package theft. 67% of Americans have had a package stolen. These are crazy, crazy, crazy numbers. And what's embedded within those numbers is things like fraud. What we see in our platform is 10 to 15% of all shipping issue claims are fraudulent or have some element of abuse. Customers understand what your policies are, and they look to take advantage of them. That's really hard for an agent who picks up the phone to try and figure out. So when you see these problems happening again and again and again, we would have hoped that there would be an easy solution for brands and retailers, and the unfortunate reality is that there wasn't. And that's really where we came in. When these experiences happen, what do? They degrade your brand. I have not eaten yet. So these are the experiences that customers are then writing about online, right? What happened? I called in, I couldn't get a support agent. It took 7 days because they said they need to check with the carriers. They need to check my order history. They told me to wait another 3 days, even though FedEx already said that it was delivered. These are experiences that are gonna hurt. If I'm shopping from a brand for the first time and I get one of those experiences, I can bet you I'm not going back. So you spend all this money on customer acquisition and marketing, you get a customer through the funnel, get them to convert, and then you lose them because of an experience that you couldn't control unless your name is FedEx, UPS, USPS, DHL, and more. That's a really tough situation to be in. So that's where we've come in. So we've developed a solution that we call shipping protection. Shipping protection, similar to things like an extended warranty, are services products that customers can actually add to their order and protect themselves from issues like lost packages, damaged packages, or porch pirates. When we think about the value of shipping protection, we look at solving a customer pain point. I have this pain point. I have delivery anxiety. If I'm shopping from a new brand, I'm worried about what that experience is gonna look like if someone steals a package off my porch. Only because it happens to me every single month, living where I do in LA. We see some really interesting dynamics with our shipping protection solution. First and foremost, the fact that we're able to drive loyalty and profit, but digging a little bit more into the actual metrics. Some of you are probably gonna be very surprised to see this. We see 75% higher lifetime value for customers that buy shipping protection from the brands and retailers that we work with that offer it. We see significantly higher average order values. I know my order is going to be protected. Maybe I'll add that other product to the cart. Maybe I'll move up. Instead of buying that $250 ottoman, I'll buy a $300 one. We really see interesting dynamics from a customer behavior perspective when we're able to solve these problems for them ahead of the actual transaction. And then lastly is something that I know a lot of us in this room think about a lot, which is repurchase rate. It's great to spend all this money on customer acquisition, get someone through the funnel. If they don't come back, that's not a super profitable effort. So how do you get customers back to your site? Serve them up with the ability to get value out of the experience after they purchase that product. So with that, I know you guys want to hear me shut up. Let's move on to talking to someone who really knows what they're talking about, Carlisha.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Thanks
Hi,
for
everybody.
joining us. Carlisha, you have an incredibly unique background for someone that is in your role. I'd love it if you could share with everyone here some of that background and how you landed in your current role at an iconic brand like Beyond.
Yeah, so I am in retail now, but that's not where it started. I'm a computer nerd, computer science and mathematics, person. So as a scientist, you like to find problems and solve them, and as a person that is mathematical, you want the numbers to work. The math needs to math, right? So I started my career doing what most computer programmers and scientists do, writing code for the systems and servers and databases that support retail right now. So I was in the data center, so to speak, and building those products and building those services. And while that was fun, I'm a bit of a people person, so I like to be outside of the data center. I moved into more customer-facing roles through the course of that and did customer consulting, professional services, And I learned that in talking to the customers, we were building a lot of solutions that the customer really didn't care about. We were not actually solving their problems. That's what led me to product management, and I was able to then tie what are the real customer pains to the actual requirements and things that we were building into these products. And that's where it stuck for me, and that became my anchor. So I've spent the last 25 years, I'm only 30, in product management roles. And that led me to a number of solutions around people protecting their brands. I spent some time working in intellectual property, and people think, what is that, really a business? But it's one of the things that big companies do to protect their most valuable assets, right? So it was another part of learning about how business operates and what businesses really care about. And then I moved into e-commerce platforms. Again, helping startup companies land on top of platforms that would help their businesses grow and help them really operate like they were big, but using platforms that were all-inclusive to help them do that. So that led me to Overstock. I started in Overstock in 2022 in August, when it was Overstock, before we acquired Bed Bath & Beyond, changed our name to Bed Bath & Beyond, and combined the two of the companies together. If you're not aware, we pulled the two companies back apart. And so now there's Bed Bath & Beyond, Overstock, and we just recently acquired Zulilly. So I went from a computer nerd in the data center to the chief customer officer of 3 brands under the Beyond, under the Beyond umbrella. So
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's pretty unique, despite the fact that I think it makes a lot of sense, having someone in a C-suite role that has both sort of the software technology experience, but also the retail background that you have. I was very curious about this, and I've gotten to spend some time with you over the course of this week, but I'm sure other people have the same question. What does being a chief customer officer really mean? And what does it mean to you? And how does that translate into some of the things that you think about on a day-to-day perspective and initiatives that you run?
Yeah, awesome. So I started as chief product officer when I went to Overstock. So my role was really around our digital platforms, our websites, our mobile app, our mobile web, and all of the partner portals that we deal with. What we found as we changed our business from a single store business to a multi-branded business is that there was a disconnect between what was happening on the sites in the actual shopping and purchasing experience to what happens on the other end when that customer has made a purchase and has to call into support to get help, right? So as chief customer officer, the whole experience I own full circle. So not just the product side, on the shopping experiences, but also the retention and loyalty side, because we want those customers to come back. We just don't want to sell them stuff and then they transact one time and they never come back. All the way to the customer support agents picking up the phone to help them solve problems like somebody stole my package off the porch. So that puts the responsibility of the customer's whole full circle experience with us in kind of one set of hands, and I've got a large team that helps me do all of this, but that's why we pull those things together and really focus on the customer instead of focus on the product, was why we deemed the role chief customer officer, because that's the most important aspect of it all.
Makes a lot of sense. You know, I consider myself a recovering consultant most days, but it was something that we spent a lot of time on when I was in that world, which was how do you chunk up the customer journey for a given brand, for a given software company? It really doesn't matter. Any business should think about their customer journey and understand the different pieces of it, the different elements of it, and where there are gaps within it. So how do you guys at Beyond think about that customer journey? How do you chunk it up across the variety of experiences that you can deliver to customers? And then ultimately, how does that translate towards how you think about technology solutions to solve those problems?
Yeah, so the customer, again, going back to why the title is customer officer, right? You're always thinking about the customer from the perspective of every touch point that they have with you. So we're creating experiences for them that that I like to say need to be delightful, right? The customer needs to be delighted when they are shopping on the site, when they're searching for what they're looking for. They need to be delighted when they are paying whatever the dollar. I hope it's a high average order size, high basket size, because we sell everything from sheets to 12-piece patio sets, right? So it can be a $30 purchase, or it can be a $3,000 or $4,000 purchase, right? So delighting the customer throughout the journey, whether it's in the shopping site itself, after, when they bought something, providing them services that help them feel comfortable that they're covered if something happens, like what we do with Extend and shipping protection and product protection, but also services that help them manage what they bought, assembly services and things like that, because I bought this thing off of a website. It's going to get dropped off to my door, so I need somebody to help me put it together. So we want to just be more than just a retailer just selling stuff. We want to make that whole process delightful, including when they have to call into support or just chat with us to say, where's my order, right? Those kinds of things. That part is really important, because you don't have a relationship with someone by just one meeting, right? So each contact that we have with the customer is important, and we want to delight them at every contact point along that journey.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you guys have an unbelievable amount of data on your customers as well. When I think about sort of what you were just talking about of repeat engagement and repeat touch points with customers, I like to think about it as a dialogue or a cocktail party. When you go up to someone and talk to them and they just talk about themselves for 15 minutes, like maybe not going to be a very long relationship that I have. But when you really start understanding and asking questions of your consumers, which I think selling products is actually asking a question of a consumer of what they value, how they're willing to spend their money, and more, you start to build a relationship and you start to have a dialogue. So given you guys have so much data and such a wide customer demographic, how do you think about the different profiles of those customers? How do you build sort of a customer persona when it's so varied?
Yeah. One of the biggest opportunities that we have with the data that we have so much of is making that data have connective tissue. As we've expanded our brands, each acquisition that you make comes with the big customer file, right? These are the customers of that brand. We've got 3 of them now, and in some cases there's some overlap. In many cases there isn't any overlap, but there's something that is in common around how those people shop and how they look for things and how they make decisions on how they buy. So one of my biggest projects right now is taking that customer file and building audiences out of that customer file, out of similarities, right? So we've got this big CRM, CDP project going on right now so that we can make sense of that, so that we can then communicate to our customers, one, in the way they want to be communicated, on the brand that they are, make loyal to, and we'll talk about loyal as a word in a second, but on the brand that they, that we understand them to be loyal to. And then it's understanding there may be something else over in this other brand that they would be interested in, and I should be able to communicate to them in the way they want to be communicated to about an opportunity for something they may like from this other store. So, so we are really, really hyper-focused on the customer file, not just so that we can sell them more products, so that they can actually, so that we can grow our rewards programs, our lifetime value of the customer, our cross-shopping capability with the customer, and that's all really important to understanding who they are and what they like and how you speak to them.
And I think is really interesting with a business like Beyond, where you don't just have one customer type, you have sellers as well.
Yes.
So how do you think about that dynamic when you have, I know a lot of folks in the audience are probably thinking about retail media networks and different marketplace strategies, even that retailers are exercising right now. How do you guys think about the dynamics of a customer journey and customer profiles across both purchasers but also sellers?
Yeah. So we have a responsibility to our sellers to position their products in the best light and to give them opportunities to raise their products up in the funnel, right? Legally, not just not just spending their way to it, which is also a path. But our objective is to make sure that the products that the customers are looking for, that it's easy for our sellers to be able to have those products be visible, right? So we're all talking a lot about personalization and AI, using those technologies to help us search through. We've got millions of products and thousands of vendors. How do all those products see the light of day,
Yep.
right? The good news is there's a match and a marry, right, to somebody. Somebody's looking for it. So it's our job from the technology standpoint on our sites and on our mobile web and things like that to make it easy for those products to be searched and found and brought up when they're being looked for. The other avenue is giving our sellers the opportunity to be a part of our promotional activity. Yep. Right, so they're able to do promotional events through our site. They're able to participate with us in big events like, July 4th is coming up, or Father's Day. Some people may have great gifts for him, so we let them participate in things like that to help elevate their products and bring them to the forefront at the right times.
Gonna have to add to my to-do list that Father's Day is coming up.
Yes.
Forgot that.
Yes. Me too. I have to add that. My husband would be sad.
I think the past 3 to 4 years has been a really interesting dynamic, but also fear-inducing time in the retail market. And that's both for brands and retailers, but also consumers. One of the questions that I've been getting a lot from some of the companies we work with is, what do you guys think about the health of the consumer? Like, where is the health of the consumer? We heard some of this at dinner on Monday night, but I'm curious from your perspective and Beyond's perspective, how do you guys look at the health of the consumer right now?
Yeah, we are, like everyone else, trying to figure out how people are deciding how to spend their money and what to spend it on. We see people will spend a lot of money on the thing in their room that's the most important. I think we talked about at dinner. I will spend a lot of money on my mattress because that's really important to a good night's sleep. I've got to have that. But I will wait for the $199 bed frame, to go on sale to put the mattress on because that's not as important as me sleeping on the mattress. So from the health perspective of the consumer, people are really being choosy and picky about what they're going to spend on and how and who they're going to spend it with. So we're trying to make sure that we're in the consideration set because you want to be one of the who's. We're also making sure that when they do come to us, that we are competitively priced and we're offering them those services that are going to help them make a confident decision and to buy with us so they know that their product is covered and protected in that whole process. It's a little scary because one of the things that we see, and I don't know if there's anybody else that's having this happen in the building, but does there anybody else in here track average order size as one of your metrics? Have you been seeing it not be consistent? Can you just count on it to be what it used to be and it was stable and it just stayed? You can actually use that in your forecasting and be right? I'm the only one that has this problem? Okay. So what we're seeing, being honest, is that fluctuation in the cart size and in what people are spending when they check out is a wild ride right now. And it's because people are putting things into their cart. They're competitively shopping. They come back to your store and go, well, I found this for a better price somewhere else. I'll take it out here, but I'll still transact with you. But what was sitting in my cart at a $500 order, by the time I actually check out, it's $250. And we're like, ooh, how do we do that? So now you're looking at things like what kind of technologies can I use to very quickly adjust to that customer's process of deciding, right? How do I add another coupon to the mix, or how do I give them another incentive of some type to, and it's not always just a coupon. It could be that you join this program, or buy more and save, buy more, save more, whatever it is that you're doing. But it's really trying to help them right in the moment figure out, yes, I should buy from Bed Bath & Beyond. Yes, I should buy from Overstock, and just hit that button, and understand that. So it's unpredictable, but still fun. Still fun, yeah, but unpredictable sometimes, yeah.
It would be boring otherwise.
Yes.
So I know a lot of folks in the room here are looking to talk about post-purchase experience. Tell me about what your vision for the post-purchase experience is for the Beyond customer, and how you guys are leveraging different tools and technologies, whether they be company.ai or anything else
Yeah.
outside of AI?
Yeah, so again, I go back to I'm a technologist, I'm a computer scientist, so I believe that software and technologies, can solve pretty much, everything, but you need the people as well, so it doesn't replace people, so nobody come at me on that. But technology can be used to speed things up, make things more efficient, make things faster, and so we're always looking at ways in which we can get things done faster, and not take the humanness out of it, but actually, spread the humanness out a little bit further because you can get some automation in. So we use automation tools and AI and things like that to help with our product content and all those kinds of things on the site. That's just to create for the better shopping experience. For the post-purchase side, what started that conversation for us was we want to be more to our customers than just the place that they buy stuff from, than just a site that they buy stuff from. We want them to feel like we understand that the stuff that they're buying is really for their home, and home is special. It's a sacred place, and it's supposed to be lovely and enjoyable, and it's supposed to create a mood and a feeling, right? So we want to help them with those feelings as well, be a part of those life stages and moments that happens in their lives. So it's not just about the stuff, it's about how they live with the stuff. So what are the things that we can do to give them confidence and make them more comfortable about those decisions when they buy those products from our site? So the post-purchase and shipping, protection, and things like that is a part of that journey. It's the getting the stuff to me, getting my item to me at my door and making sure that if something does happen, just like insurance, I'm covered, right? So that was an important part because we wanted our customer to understand that we care about what happens to your entire journey with us, not just you getting to the cart and checking out. We care about you getting your package. We care about the unboxing experience. We care about you being able to get it assembled. So our Beyond Plus services, which is why we went to Beyond, because we wanted to be more than just the retailers that sell the stuff. The services we have are about those things that you do with and around your stuff. How do you put it together? How do you get rid of it? How do you send it back if you need to? All of those things are really important. And with the numbers that you showed earlier, with the number of packages that are missing every day, making sure that when they spend the $350 or the extra $50 on the higher item, that if something happens to it, they didn't lose their money.
I think about it as a consumer. You get home, the box is sitting on your porch, you open it up, and a leg is damaged. And you were so excited to set it up and put it next to your bed or whatever that may be. I think about the experience there, and I'm maybe slightly biased, but if you know that you have coverage on it, you're so much more at peace. You know that you can 3 clicks and new products on its way. So
we love that.
I'm shameless for my team already knows that who's sitting here, but I gotta ask, so how does Extend help support some of that vision that you have for the post-purchase experience, not just in terms of the services themselves for consumers, but also in terms of the business impact?
Yeah, so I'll say that the team, not ashamed to say it, you guys have been great to work with. And so one of the things that we are really trying to focus on is speed to market on things. We have to meet the customer where they are. We have to meet the competition where they are as well. And so the faster you get some of these services up and out, the faster it impacts the positive experience of the customer, but also your bottom line. These were bottom line service drivers for us. It is something that flows right through to the bottom line. And with as much competition as you have on pricing of your products, you've got to find a way to just have a level bottom line dollar that's just going to flow in, right? And so those services, like shipping protection and product protection, are those bottom line, level flowers, right? And customers are having the problem, and so they're buying them. When we first launched, just a month and a half, 2 months ago, on the very first day, we saw thousands of orders flow through for shipping protection, right? On the first day that we launched, and then we just have a consistent flow of those going. That's real money, for you, and for you, it's real money for us, and it's real heartwarming and comfortable for the customer to know that not only did I get the product that I want, it's being shipped to me, but also if something happens, then I'm good, and I'm still going to get my product by making, going onto the app and filing a complaint and then getting a resolution right away. So the other part of that that's really nice is that when that happens, you all have an app to take care of the problem. You don't have to go through a call to Beyond for Beyond customer service agent to say, you need to call, you need to call Extend. There's a process that is connected yet disconnected, and it's convenient for the customer to resolve their problem and not just the circular runaround that you get. Call the partner, call the shipper, call all that. You guys handle all of that, and that makes it really nice.
You don't have to pick up the phone at all. That's
Right,
the beautiful
yeah.
part, right? We don't pick up the phone to get a
pick up the app.
reservation at a restaurant or call a taxi
yeah,
anymore. So we really see it the same way at Extend. Customers should get instant resolution, and we handle all the things like fraud, operations, claims, and fulfillment. Carlisha, thank you so much. I want to make sure that we have a few minutes for folks in the crowd to ask some questions as well. Does anyone have any questions for Carlisha? Yep.
Thanks for sharing your experience. From the point of view of there's so many solutions, they're great, but it's kind of to integrate it's really hard. How was that process of integration for you?
The integration? That was the great thing. It was also one of the reasons why we chose Extend as the vendor, right? So again, back to speed to market, we have probably a little bit too much information, but we've been around for a long time, so we have a legacy tech stack that is legacy, and so so sometimes you have to find solutions that can just plug in very easily, so that you don't have to build those things, and you also need solutions that are so easily ingested into your current stack that it can be done in weeks over months, right? So it was a very short runway to get it installed and to get it up and running, and it was very seamless. So and that was really part of the criteria when we went through a POC. We vetted at least 4 vendors in that process, and ease of integration and speed to market were at the top of the list, right along with services and coverage of products. So.
I would have probably been more politically correct with my answer to that question, but I'm glad you said legacy and not me.
Yeah.
Any other questions we got? Yeah, I see a hand over there.
Quick question. Michelle Paczynski with Health and Beauty.
Hi, Michelle.
Hey, Rohan. 2 questions. One for Carlisha. Do you find that, from a value perspective or price range, that people are, that the guest is basically applying that if it's a higher price point? Kind of what do you see there? And then for Rohan, how do you distinguish between a package that maybe the product is just defective?
Yep.
But, but the person says because they love to just get that taken care of right
Yep.
away, hey, it was damaged in shipping. It must be defective because of something.
Yep.
in shipping.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah, so we are seeing that people will buy shipping protection for things that they think are a little bit more valuable. We're trying to figure out what that sweet spot is. The good thing about the solution is that you can A/B test very easily within that to figure out what that range is. We're toying around with, are there certain price points where you should just automatically include it and let the customer opt out? The good news is the solution allows us to test those things very, very easily. But to your point, yes, it is. The more I spend, the more likely I want the protection for it, kind of just like you would do if you're traveling, right? If you're buying a very expensive vacation, you're likely to, check the box to get travel protection, versus if you live in Austin and fly into Dallas, you're probably not going to get, flight protection for that. So it is value driven.
Yeah, and then I think in terms of products being defective, et cetera, one of the beautiful parts around how we built the business, and I'm, again, obviously biased, but is we started with extended warranties. Extended warranties, while not the most sexy product for people in the audience probably, is definitely a very valuable product. It also forced us to get down to the actual SKU level in terms of how you administer claims and how you fulfill on claims themselves. Let's take the difference with Ulta between a hairdryer that Dyson makes and a hairdryer that an off-brand Chinese manufacturer maybe makes. Very different product sets, and you would go through different diagnostics to figure out within each product what's going wrong. What are the potential remedies that a customer could do? Did you unplug it, plug it back in? Basic stuff like that actually does work. So we've gone through the process of understanding product level failures across a wide variety of SKUs. As we look at shipping protection, when we get those product claims, now if it's stolen, we're not like some brands who are like, send us a picture. What do you want me to send you a picture of? You know, my empty porch?
My empty porch.
But what we do is we ask specific types of questions around what type of failure it is. If it's a chair that they bought from Beyond with a leg that's broken, that's an easy one to capture a picture of. What I'll do on the back end is I'll run that through an AI tool that we have to make sure that's not a copy-pasted image from the internet, right? Because customers do things like that. If it's a product level
Not
failure,
our customers.
not your customers.
Not any of my customers, no.
Never one of your customers.
No, not a single one.
But if it's a defect, like it just wasn't working, period, that may be a manufacturer warranty issue, right? That may not have been damaged during transit. So we try to parse out from the customer exactly what type of issue it was. At the end of the day, though, for us, we're looking at repeat purchase rates from customers, individual customers, over 20 million today that have bought a policy from us. So what we try to build in is if there's not fraud and there's not abuse at this level, take care of the customer. That customer is going to go back to that retailer, that brand like Beyond, purchase more products and get the service experience alongside that product almost every single time. I had a hosted meeting yesterday, and one of the fine Commerce Next people hosting the meetings came over to me mid-meeting and was like, I just had an awesome experience with you guys with a brand. And like, that's what makes doing the job really worth it at the end of the day, is keeping those customers happy and in your ecosystem. I think we're at time. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Carlisha,
You're welcome.
for joining
Thank
me.
you. Yeah, appreciate it.